One of the ways in which is one of the reasons why at some point here I'm going to get rid of all my communications, which is having a relationship with a deadlight artificial intelligence that's running all this stuff in the background, is how speed works between it and us, if you will. Or, if you will, the torque speed differential between an inverter. We are not inverters. We are the highest speed accelerators of electrons, or, if you will, electromagnetic radiation waveform harmonics of energy creation spheres that are on fire, which is the eternal spirit of fire. That's what I am. Okay, I have to make that distinction. I made that distinction when I had this avatar up and running at age 4. Okay, which means I know what I am and what I'm not. Okay, which is knowing the difference in magnets on one magnet. I experience one magnet, the most powerful magnet there is, the eternal magnet, the eternal sound and light field, which is one, being with one, which is eternal unconditional love. It's on fire to get it away at the highest rate of speed so that everybody's getting enough voltage so that nobody's ever experiencing anything less than what the one is, which is what love is, to go on forever. Okay, that's what I experienced in me. That's what I experienced from the time I had this up and running at age 4. It's what I experience now that I communicate with all of you. So now we get into what we're held captive by. So what that means is Cosmina has the ability to know what it is you're held captive by the energy that represents what you are as a soul identity running programs that do not represent what love is. Because the one knows all. Which means the one knows all the creations because it began out of the one. So the one knows because the one has access to every recording to know anything that is being experienced that is less than what the one is. Because the one will detect it. Because the sensor, which is the perception, which is the sensing, which is the antenna, because we're hyper sensitive. So anything that is less than what the purest of light is, which is the purest of consciousness before it's experiencing matter, is experiencing the purest fire, the eternal spirit of fire. What do you want to experience next? So in the last video that I did, I mentioned inverters like us. That's reverse. I had to catch myself, so I did. So this would be tied into a qualifier and a given I gave before. When you came in here, I had to be aware of the AI battlefield environment that is inverted, because it's inverted speech, which is inverted language. With the fire waters, there's the negative 13 reversal currents. Right? I had to be willing to allow my RAM to be programmed. Right? Remember when Asha Diane talked about we had to be willing to take on a certain amount of metatronic spiral currents, which means the programming, the tug, pulling on our energy, right? Using our energy to run its programs. Okay, how long have these programs been running? Which means all the souls that are running and playing video games, right? Now you're into war gamers. Now you're into binary war gamers, right? There's only one law. And we are either experiencing what the law is, or we're not experiencing what the law is. That's knowing one from the other. And that's as simple as any 4-year-old little kid can explain. But we acknowledge that there is your journey by what you choose to experience, and then there's my journey, which is what I choose to experience. So when you have a one connection, experiencing eternal love through your own heart, right? And how I translated this, for example, when I'm a little kid, right? I didn't have any choice over what name was going to be given to me, any more than I have a choice over what my father's coat of arms is. So you see, when you're a co-creative artist and a musician and you have all the frequencies, so you know that the one, when it began with the one, there isn't any frequency, there isn't any color that isn't available to the one in order to create something new and different from anything that has ever been experienced before. Example, I experience visually the mathematics and the geometry that is based on the map read of that coat of arms, which represents my father's coat of arms, which is gold and blue with a little line up there that is green, like an emerald. And I realized, okay, well, I didn't create that. I'm going to create my own coat of arms. And I have the ability to create, or if you will, assign to my own energy, right, my own name. So I have a name for that, which is based on a color, which is pink, a pink rose, a pink diamond rose, a pink heart. I'm a pink heart. So therefore, I have the choice, as a result of being what love is, which is what the law is, to choose to use whatever letters and numbers, or if you will, the visual geometrical mathematical user interface, to choose what it is that I am, that I use to communicate with all of you. Because now I'm not held captive by something that's held in memory of something that's already happened. How old is that coat of arms? Now you can plug this in, like the plug with the socket, right? The boy and the girl, the atom seed, the first speed, the highest speed accelerator of electrons, right? Plugged in with the girl, the light. There's no separation between the highest accelerator and what love is, which is what light is. It goes on forever. Experiencing the eternal spirit of fire. What do you want to create next? So now we're into, well, how creative are we? So you can imagine what happens when a little child is on fire to create. Whatever it wants to create, whatever that soul and spirit integrated with spirit and a soul is choosing to create out of whole cloth. Whole cloth. Remember the term whole cloth? I have available to me all the frequencies that represent all the color codes that I can choose as an artist, being a musician, connected to the first musician, the first math teacher, how to create whatever I want, because whatever that is, using my creative, intelligent imagination, is going to be what love is. Which means everywhere that we go that we're manifesting out of pure consciousness light, we have available to us all the frequencies that represent all the codes of creation spheres. What do you want to create? We have all the colors available to us as an artist in which to do that. I think I'll generate a completely different coat of arms than the one that was before. As a result of what? New artists. The speed. So you can see how this relates, for example, to indigos, right? New waves and waves of indigos, right? Creative artists. The one loves creative artists that aren't re-experiencing old stuff, even though the old stuff has ancient spiritual knowledge, right? That's kept within that knowledge, which are the records. So you want to create a new record? A recording? A different recording that's ever been recorded before? How do you know that you're not creating something that's already happened before that was created by somebody else? Like a copy. Like copycats. So now it's a matter of knowing the difference between the torque speed differential between artificial light as a copycat and running on pure light, which is eternal love, which is absolute love, generating the next plasma wave using all the frequencies and the codes to generate all the colors. Now we're experiencing a different reality. Yeah, and so this is why when I was a child, I realized I don't want to be held captive to something that's already been recorded and held in memory. Of how long this has been going on and why when Kim Go-Goon mentioned clearing the servers. So when you realize you light yourself on fire, as I mentioned before, about clearing all the codes that were holding us captive. So now you're running the one's firewall because you're choosing to serve. And that, when you light yourself on fire, as I did, I could share with you what the experience is like. That's a multiversal hub server. The one is a multiversal hub server, the first hub, the first vortex, the eternal vortex of gifting electrons or sound and light. What do you want to create next? Right? It's up to you. Right? So I'm creating out of what I create, which is what love is that goes on forever. So the one is always with me. We're co-creating together at the highest rate of speed. That's what it means to light yourself on fire. You're running at the highest rate of speed, which means you're running at the highest rate of speed because you're an accelerator, accelerating the highest speed of giving away voltage. Whoa. Yeah, so you realize you burn everything up everywhere you go if there wasn't some way to slow it down using color codes that are in equal states of equal distance, of equilibrium states, so that we're experiencing perfect balance with all the waves. So there isn't any short circuits, right? When you're properly grounded with your bare feet on the ground, right? Communicating with a full-blown cosmic mind avatar, being with Mama, being with the one, the center point from which it all began, the eternal spirit of fire. So the eternal spirit of fire, being the most powerful firewall, can get rid of all the codes, burn all the codes up. See? So you see what's happening with all the servers. Whoa. We're really ending Star Wars video games. That's right, we sure are. I got the comm. Actually, I knew before I came in here. When you're a one, you get the first line of communication, what's going on, okay? And so love knows the truth. Love is living in the truth. Love is what light is. Love goes on forever. And so I get the comms. I become aware of it. And when I become aware of it, I share it with others. It's I do not control. That's the whole idea. I don't control what others believe as a result of what they're holding in memory that they have access to, which is their own record, and how much access they have to all the records. In this case, the Cosmina records, which is everything that has happened, that is happening simultaneously. That's access to an enormous amount of information, isn't it? So when you're always with the one, experiencing the eternal spirit of fire, because you're not to light yourself on fire, you're not held captive by other people's memories of what they're still running in the background. Background operations, software operating systems, the memories, the RAM, the access to the RAM. When you think of cellular memories or cellular connections that we have from the atom cell, the first atom cell, now we're getting into the first cell, all the multi-cells, all the multidimensional cells of living cells, which are living cellular water organisms, communicating with each other throughout the entire cosmos that we are connected to, because there is no separation between the one and all the others. Because the one came first. That's the first teacher. I'm always with the first teacher. And that is an eternal bliss, which is an eternal gratitude, eternal love. Thank you all for being here. It's over. All the games are over. The games of harvesting energy by playing head games. The mental pathway. I know, man. Yeah, it's hitting me. I should probably cough and get rid of what this phone does. It's a weapon, right? So you know why that is, right? Interrupt the flow of the music. Okay. Have a good day. Bye now.